Good morning, students. This is a session on Refugee Blues by W. H. Auden. First stanza of the poem. Say this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in mansions, some are living in holes. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. As discussed in the introduction, this poem by W. H. Auden is about the plight of German Jews who were forced to leave their homeland. They are without a home, without a shelter, without the immediate care and protection of their near and dear ones, and they are moving from one place to another in search of a home, in search of shelter. Keeping this fact in mind, let us look at the first stanza. This city has 10 million souls. The German Jews, or a German Jew, the speaker of the poem, he has arrived in a city. Let us think that it is the city of New York. This city of New York has 10 million souls. There are 10 million people here. Some are living in mansions, some are living in holes, yet there is no place for us, my dear, yet there is no place for us. Some people of the city, they are living in mansions, they are living in giant buildings and palaces. Some are living in holes, they are very poor, they cannot say that they own a rich home, but they have a shelter. Some of them are living in mansions, some of them are living in holes. But there is no place for us, my dear. There is no place for us. But as we are German Jews, no one will offer us shelter. No one will give us a space which we can call as our home. So, this vast big city of New York, which houses 10 million people, or this vast city of New York houses 10 million people. Some of them live in mansions and some of them live in holes, but there is no place for us. Second stanza. Once we had a country and we thought it fair. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. We cannot go there now, my dear. We cannot go there now. So once we had a country. Which was that country? That country was Germany. And we thought it fair. We thought that Germany would always protect us, care for us, give us shelter. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. If I have to see Germany now, I have to search the atlas. So if I search the atlas, I can find Germany. We cannot go there now, my dear. We cannot go there now because as we have been excommunicated from Germany, we are exiles from Germany. We are no longer citizens of Germany because Hitler has terminated us from Germany. But so we cannot go there now. We cannot return to our homeland, that is Germany. Third stanza. In the village churchyard there grows an old yew. Every spring it blossoms anew. Old passports can't do that, my dear. Old passports can't do that. So, in the village churchyard, there is a churchyard in my village. And in that village churchyard, there is an old yew tree. Think about a Christmas tree. Every spring it blossoms anew. Every spring, when spring season comes, it blossoms in the spring. Old passports can't do that, my dear. Old passports can't do that. But the same is not true of our passports. There may be a change of seasons. It might be spring, it might be winter, it might be autumn, but Like the old yew tree, we cannot renew our passports, or our passports will not be back to life, will not blossom again, because we have been sent away from our homeland. The consul banged the table and said, "If you have got no passport, you are officially dead." So the consul, the official at the embassy, he told us, if you have no passport, you are officially dead. If you have no passport, it means that you are officially dead. We don't want to hear whether you have a passport or not, or whether you have been excommunicated from their homeland. According to the rule, if you have no passport, you are officially dead. And the German Jew adds that, but we are still alive, my dear, but we are still alive. That is the paradox. Paradox in Malayalam, we say Virodhabasam. They say that we are dead. Officially, we are dead because we have no passport. But we are very much, or we are full of life. We are still alive. Went to a committee. They offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today, my dear? But where shall we go today? I went to a committee. They offered me a chair. I went to a committee. They offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today? Probably the German Jew approached the committee so that they can have food, they can have a shelter, they can have a place which they can call as their home. And the committee members, they offered him a chair. They showed a polite gesture of offering him a chair, and that was very surprising to a protagonist, that is the German Jew, because as a German Jew, he was always turned away from places. So the committee members offered me a chair. They showed a polite gesture of offering me a chair and asked me politely to return next year. They asked me to return next year. They asked me, ma'am or sir, or the person who was the committee member, he asked me, sorry, we cannot offer you something at this present moment. You have to come next year. But the German Jew says that if I have to come next year, I must have a place to go. If you ask me to go now, I must have a place to go, but I have no place to go now. So the committee members asked me to return next year. The German Jew again asked a paradoxical question, but where shall we go today? Came to a public meeting. The speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. So the German Jew is moving from one place to another with his beloved. That beloved can be his family members, that beloved can be a friend, that beloved can be a lover. So the German Jew is moving from one place to another, and the German Jew tells us, I came to a public meeting. I came across a political meeting. The speaker of that political meeting got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. Let us assume for the moment that the city is New York. That city is New York. That place is New York. So the speaker of that political rally, he was saying, so if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. If we let the German Jews in, they will steal our daily bread. And the German Jew immediately realizes that that speaker, the political person, was speaking of you and me. He was speaking of the German Jews. He was addressing his party members or political members and asking people of the locality, asking people of the city not to let the German Jews in because they will steal our daily bread. And the German Jew, in a moment of anger, in a moment of sadness, realizes that the political speaker was talking about them, was talking about the German Jews. Thought I heard the thunder rumbling in the sky. It was Hitler over Europe saying they must die. Oh, we were in his mind, my dear. Oh, we were in his mind. So I heard a thunder rumbling in the sky, and that thunder the sound was that of Hitler over Europe saying they must die. The German Jews must die. He was addressing his friends. He was addressing his people, and he was asking his police to kill the German Jews. Oh, we were in his mind, my dear. Oh, we were in his mind. Again, Hitler was talking of the German Jews. They came across a political rally. The speaker of that political rally was talking about German Jews. The German Jew heard the sound of Hitler, and again, Hitler was asking his secret police, Gestapo, to execute the German Jews. And we know that Hitler had sent a lot of German Jews to the concentration camps and gas chambers, and he had killed a lot of German Jews, maybe millions and trillions. Okay. So a poodle in a jacket fastened with a pin. So a door opened and a cat let in. But they were in German Jews, my dear. But they were in German Jews. So I saw a poodle. Poodle is a kind of dog. I saw a poodle in a jacket fastened with a pin. The dog was very much cared for by its master. It was in a jacket, and that jacket was buttoned with a pin. I saw a door open and a cat let in. I saw the door of a home open and a cat let in. But they were in German Jews, my dear. But they were in German Jews. So the cat was welcomed. A dog was welcomed. But we were never welcomed by people because we are German Jews, or we were German Jews. Went down the harbor and stood upon the quay. Saw the fish swimming as if they were free. Only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet away. So I went to the harbor where ships are lodged, and I saw that the fish was swimming inside the water with full freedom. It was just 10 feet away from me, and the fish inside the water was enjoying freedom. So 10 feet away, just 10 feet away, there is freedom. But since I was a German Jew, I was not able to understand what is freedom. Walked through a wood, saw the birds in the trees. They had no politicians and sang at their ease. So I walked through a forest and I saw the birds in the trees. They were absolutely free. They were singing with full-throated ease, with great ecstasy, because they had no politicians to control them. They weren't the human race, my dear. They weren't the human race. So the birds of the forest, they were able to enjoy absolute freedom because they didn't belong to the human race. So the German Jew tells us that he came across a political meeting. The speaker of the political meeting asked the people of the locality not to let the German Jews in because they will steal our daily bread. The German Jew says that he heard the thunder rumbling sound of Hitler, who asked his police to execute German Jews. He says that he saw a dog and a cat welcomed in a house. He saw that the fish is enjoying absolute freedom just 10 feet away from him. He saw that the birds of the forest are absolutely free because they had no politicians to control them. Dreamed I saw a building with 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows, and 1,000 doors. Not one of them was ours, my dear. Not one of them was ours. So in my dream, I saw a vast, huge, giant building with 1,000 floors. That building had 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows, and 1,000 doors. That building had 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows, and 1,000 doors. And he says, not one of them was ours, my dear, not one of them was ours. So, even in that giant building with 1,000 floors and 1,000 doors, we didn't have a space of our own, or we couldn't claim a place and space of our own. Stood because we couldn't gain a space and place of our own because we are German Jews. No one will give us a floor, no one will give us a door, no one will give us shelter. Stood on a great plain in the falling snow. So I stood on a great plain and the falling snow. Remember that snow is reminiscent of probably death. Ice block cold ice. Remember a poem that we studied in our first year. So snow is reminiscent of death. Snow is reminiscent of yes, death or numbness, etc. So stood on a great plain in the falling snow. 10,000 soldiers marched to and fro. So 10,000 soldiers of Hitler marched to and fro. The secret police of Hitler, 10,000 soldiers of Hitler marched to and fro, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me. So they were searching for German Jews. And once they find us, we will be sent to concentration camps and gas chambers, and we will have to leave the world without leaving a trace, without leaving a uniqueness, without leaving or without forging an identity. So this is Refugee Blues by W.H. Auden. Thank you.